Welcome to Shapers of the Snow, a show dedicated to the small independent builders handcrafting skis and snowboards around the world. We sit down with the shapers to hear how they got started, the art behind their craft, the real challenges they face, and what continues to fuel their passion for creating shapes for the snow. Grab a beer or a coffee, and let's get on with the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shapers of the Snow. Today we have Mike from
Barbagiazz.
And how you doing today, Mike?
Very well, thanks. And you, Josh?
Not too bad. To get started, how did you get into skiing, and what ended up bringing you to making your own skis?
Sure. So, what brought me to ski? I was born in the northern part of Italy. I grew up in Switzerland, so it's the Alps. Everybody around here.
And a big thanks to Mike for taking the time to come on the podcast. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks, Snow.
Time all the winter season, mainly in the Alps, mainly in Switzerland. I continued skiing, and actually, what brought me to build my skis is probably that I have another job where I spend a lot of time in front of a computer, doing Excel files and PowerPoint presentations, and I was definitely missing doing something with my hands. And so, I started looking into building skis because, I had a passion for skiing, and I said, and why not? First with a few forums, a few YouTube videos. I started. I must say that, I started really from scratch, and definitely a steep curve.
Okay. And how long ago did you start making skis?
I started like 5-6 years ago.
How many pairs have you made in that time frame?
I would say, I don't know, like in maybe 100.
100? It's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Where does the name Barbagiazz come from?
Okay, that's a cool story. So actually, there is a myth, a legend of the Swiss and French Alps, which is Barbagiazz, and Barbagiazz is a gnome, furry gnome with long feet that is living in the mountain, is skiing down avalanches with his long feet. And I really like the image, since my mother tongue is Italian, and we have like a dialect around where I grew up. So I converted the name to something more Italian sounding, and so that's what came out is Barbagiazz, and it could like mean something like icy beard.
It's kind of cool. So it has a little bit of like your heritage and a little bit of your background tied into the name of the skis.
Exactly, definitely, and I think it links a little bit to the pillars that I try to put into the brand.
All right, that's pretty cool. Growing up in the Alps, and were you a ski racer, or were you free ride? Because I noticed the skis you're making are mostly free ride. Looks like. What kind of background did you have growing up skiing?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I was skiing mainly on piste. But I remember the first time I tried freeride. I mean, I cannot pinpoint exactly my age, but it must have been sometimes in my teens. It really changed the perspective for me regarding skiing. It was really. I mean, I already like skiing, but freeride definitely sparked something. So it has been. A lot of freeride, and of course, along with freeride, it goes, the ski touring to go and find the right spot to do free riding. So Barbagiazz is definitely focusing on this area.
For your skis, you're focusing on local wood, green, more sustainable resources, and open source. What kind of philosophy are you trying to build with the skis? Are you trying to just do locally sourced and crowdsourced kind of idea or vibe, or are you just trying to limit your impact on the environment around you while you make your skis?
Yeah, and actually, I listened to I think your first episode, and someone was saying that ultimately it's difficult to make fully green skis. And yeah, I agree because you cannot do skis without epoxy. You cannot make skis without a base. So that's definitely a limitation. But yeah, for me, the idea is to make skis with a minimal environmental impact. Well, first of all, it's sourcing the materials locally. Second is try to use as much as possible green or greener materials. So, for example, in my skis, I use wooden sidewalls, and also for tip and tails inserts, I use cork sheet rather than plastic materials, and also is as a composite material. I use a flax, in particular from a Swiss company called Bcomp. So they produce this composite material flax, like full flax or flax mixed carbon. Yeah, so that's definitely something. And then also in terms of epoxy resin, I tried to find the ones that have most carbon in it. For example, I'm working with a French brand called Sycomin, and they have a 50%, 56% carbon sourced epoxy. So yeah, that's the philosophy. And then maybe the last point, the open source is really related more to the softwares that I use and the tools that I use. So yeah, I use a lot of open source software, and also my CNC machine that I built for this project is an open source project done by V1 Engineering.
Okay, cool. So the CNC is from a community-driven project.
Yeah, I mean it's a community-driven project. There is one person in particular behind, but yeah, there is a great community behind. And I never used the CNC before starting working on skis, and yeah, it has been a very helpful community, giving a lot of advice. Even if the majority of them never worked on producing skis, but yeah, the technical knowledge is definitely great there.
Definitely. And are you using that to cut out base materials and profile the cores? What are you using it for?
Yeah, so I use the CNC to cut my core, and then I use it also to cut the base. I use a drag knife to cut the base. And actually, so I tried to profile the cord with the CNC. I'm still not super satisfied. Therefore, I built a jig with a hand planer and some aluminium rails. So that's what I use for the profiling.
You're using, I saw you using poplar, ash. Ash isn't really a common ski core. Any reason why you picked ash over, say, like aspen or different material?
Yeah, so it was mainly driven by the availability here. It was easier to get the hands on ash. I tried also beech, and yeah, pretty similar, but yeah, easier to get hands on Swiss ash. For sure. I mean, I really like the property. It's a really good solution.
Yeah, I've used ash before too, and it's more responsive than other woods. It has that extra pop. You kind of put more pressure into it, and you receive more out of it. It seems. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely notice it. And yeah, maybe it's also driven by personal preferences. But yeah, I like this response in the skis.
Yeah, it's definitely good. Then for the sidewalls, are you doing any are you adding a harder wood for the
Yeah.
sidewall, or are you running it full, like the core full rail to rail?
Yeah. So no, I'm using oak. Because of course the sidewall are exposed to the environment. They are also exposed to shocks and so on. So I wanted something that was more waterproof and more tough. So I went with oak. I also experimented with larch. So larch is good. It's lighter. It's less art, but it's still quite good in terms of, let's say, waterproofing. I don't know. In the future, I might consider to use it for my like ski touring course. So in my ski touring course, I use ash and poplar. to make it lighter, and yeah, possibly using larch would make it also like a bit lighter.
Okay. You're using cork for tip and tail spacers.
Yeah.
With that, have you noticed it helps dampering with like vibration in the tips and tails compared to the plastic?
Yeah. I mean, in terms of dampening, I didn't notice a lot of difference. I think it's quite good. And again, for me, it's driven, first and foremost by let's say the green aspect of it. But then, of course, I wouldn't choose something only because it's green. It also needs to be fit for purpose, right? So yeah, comparable to plastic, but greener.
Greener, yep. Years ago in ski builders, a lot of people were using cork as like a dampering material within their garage skis. They're just wondering if that's why you used it, or if you're just doing it just to be greener.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, started for the greener, but it definitely works for my ski in terms of vibration dampening.
Okay.
And just maybe I can also say that maybe on when you are skiing on the powder, yeah, you already feel probably less the vibrations. But I tested my skis also on icy slopes, and yeah, they handle the vibration pretty good.
That's awesome. The flax material compared to fiberglass, do you know anything big difference there? That's actually a material that I've been interested in using for a long time, but it's hard to get over here. And
Yeah.
I'm just curious what the properties are with that one compared to fiberglass.
I think in terms of property, and of course it depends also how you layer it exactly, because as for carbon and so on, you have like biaxial, triaxial, unidirectional mixed with carbon and so on. So there are like a lot of different possibilities, and yeah, I think the properties. I mean, overall, I can say that they're pretty similar, but of course they can vary considerably depending on what layering you're exactly doing. And I think like everything, it's just a matter of testing different layering to find the one that you like the most, or at least the different properties of the different layering, so that if you want to do a ski that is more one way or more another way, you find the right way for you.
Okay. And that's just layering different weights of the flax, or layering the flax with different composites?
No, it's like, for example, one layering I do is biaxial 45 degrees with the unidirectional flax mixed carbon, and of course, like the thicker the layer, and the further away from the core, the stiffer the ski it gets, because I think it to the second power, the stiffness compared to the distance. So yeah, already if you invert the carbon with the 45 degrees, you can feel the difference.
Okay. And yeah, the flax is a little bit thicker overall than fiberglass, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But again, I think yeah, there is the concept for first of the green, but then you have to try and make sure that that is comparable to non-green solutions, right? Because otherwise it would be too much of a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, flax is being used more and more, also outside of skiing. I've seen that the same company that produces the one I use is working on automotive as well, and I guess to build the bodies of the cars.
Like carbon fiber, instead of using carbon fiber, they're using flax.
Yeah.
That's cool. Then
Indeed.
how long did it take? How many prototypes did it take to dial that process in?
Well, the thing is, as I mentioned at the beginning, there is first of all, there is a steep curve, and the toughest thing is to get your first pair. A lot of trial and error, but you learn a lot doing that. Then once you get there, I mean, to test different variables, say, yeah, it might take a few tens of pairs to understand exactly, you know, what this particular thing makes, what this other particular things makes, and we're talking also about core thickness. Like changing 1 or 2 millimeter, it's a big difference. But again, also in terms of combining the different composite materials. I mean, there are not like thousands of combination if you use only flax, right? So it's quite a reasonable number to test.
Yeah, a lot of variables you got to dial in when making skis that perform well. And were you having other people skiing on them too, or is it just you testing them out while you're dialing in?
No, I have friends of mine also that are very happy to test my skis. I think it's good to have also a different perspective because if you take 10 people and you have them ski the same ski, you will have 10 different feedback, right?
Yeah. No, it's good to have a lot of different opinions and hearing feedback from everyone on
Yeah.
how the process is going.
Yeah, it's also sometimes also a risk because it's like when you go to ski test events and you try I don't know how many different pairs of skis. At the end it's too difficult to tell the difference, right? It's sometimes it's so subtle it's difficult to tell.
Yeah, everything just kind of blurs together at the end. Then for top sheets, I see you're using veneer. Are you hand cutting
Yeah.
those out or lasering them out?
No, I'm lasering. So again, I use the same CNC machine, the low rider, and I just I have a laser head that I mount on it. Yeah, lasering it. It's a very very good solution. Very very precise.
Yeah, definitely.
I try to do it by hand, but it's very very difficult.
Yeah, what kind of wood are you using for the top sheets?
So, I mean, right now I have this ash, I have oak, and I have also cherry. But there, I wouldn't say the possibilities are unlimited, but you can. For me, it's mainly a question. Well, first of all, of making sure that the wood come from here, but then it's also playing with the colors and making it nice. So the possibility with woods, it's basically try to find different colors to put them together.
Yeah, and those are 3 woods that are difficult to cut by hand.
Yeah. I'm so happy that we have lasers to cut these things now.
Yeah, some lasers make it so much easier and they're so precise. It's real nice.
Yeah, and fast as well. I mean, you go really really fast. So I use it to cut, also to carve. There are some carving as well. So it's really good. Yeah. The ideas for the skis is having a series that is based on the 4 elements. And so right now I already have 2. One is my free ride ski, the aria, which means air in Italian, and then I have another model which is more of a all mountain model, and it's called Terra. And near the tail, they have these burnings in the with a symbol related to an element.
Nice. So you're gonna have 2 more models coming up.
So 2 more models plus maybe the 5th element. I don't know.
5th element. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are those 2 models coming up? Are those gonna be like carving skis or more all mountain ones?
So I haven't decided yet, but I think that my focus would still remain around free ride and free tour. So they will be maybe something different, but still along those lines.
Okay.
Maybe one will be more focused on on free touring, and one will be more focused, I don't know, on free riding in the trees or these kind of things.
Something a bit more nimble.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And for your 2 models right now, what kind of camber profile are you running? Standard camber, rocker camber, or reverse?
Yeah, it's rocker camber for both. Yeah, in the future, I want to try maybe something different. But I also have to work with the snow conditions in Switzerland, or more broadly in the Alps. Are quite specific. Compared to something that maybe you can find somewhere else. So you have to take this in consideration as well, right? Also the landscape and so on.
Yeah. So you kind of designing skis for the land around you and the type of skiing that's available.
Yeah, this fits a little bit with, sourcing with local materials and everything. So the idea is to start, to sell like in Switzerland and avoid shipping the skis all around the world. So, if someone wants a pair of Barbagiazz, they can come to Switzerland to have a ski, and they can pick up the skis as well.
Yeah. I shipped a pair of skis from here, the U.S., to Austria, and it cost the same amount as selling the skis to ship them over.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. I mean, I was actually in the US last week, and I was talking to someone, and he told me, yeah, but can you send me there? And I said, listen, that's the philosophy. But even if I don't look at the philosophy, if I check the price for shipping plus the import taxes and so on, it's gonna be like a lot of money on top, right? So yeah.
No, that's a good idea. Just kind of start local, keep the cost down, and yeah, more sustainable and more green.
Yes, definitely.
So that's where you design the skis for, or the skiers in the Alps, pretty much.
I would say yes, but never say never. And then again, if the business goes well and it becomes bigger, why not designing other type of skis? Without shipping them, but just designing them, and then maybe the clients will come here and pick them up. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, good excuse to go skiing in Switzerland.
That's for sure. Yeah. And actually, there are always a lot of Americans coming over. I think that sometimes it's probably cheaper to fly here and ski here than some of the resorts that you have in the US.
Yeah, that's getting more and more true every year.
And actually, I know that I think Vail acquired a few resorts here, and they have I think this, I don't know how it's called, but this pass that cover all their resorts, and it covers also the European resorts. So yeah, I hear of a lot of Americans that are using this.
Yeah, the Attic Pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I would like to do is definitely make a pair of ski for Japan.
What do you want someone to feel when they first try out a pair of your skis? Like what kind of vibe are you going for?
That comes back to my first model, so the freeride model Aria, and probably comes back to the first feeling I had when first did freeride, and it's really this sensation of floating, and being able to do these long turns deep into the powder. That's what I like the most in the skis, on freeride skis. So that definitely, the sensation that I would like that everybody can experience. But again, if we talk more broadly, and also maybe doing some other type of terrain, again, as I mentioned before, I like the responsiveness of the ski. I like when you feel the ski under your boots. So that's what I really like. So I hope that my ski can convey these sensations.
Floaty but carvy, and like a connection.
Yeah. Like, floating first and foremost. Yeah, it's really the best sensation when you are deep into the.
No, it definitely is. That's why I think we all got addicted to skiing. How long have you been running the company?
So officially the company exists for a few months, but unofficially for a couple of years. Let's say that it was in stealth mode or something. But yeah, I created the legal entity relatively soon, because before I was really focusing more on all the development part, and actually it's recently that started to do some like more marketing activities. It was like required to have some form of legal entity. And yeah, actually next winter I'm gonna participate events for a free ride ski testing. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I created the legal entity, and also to access easily bindings and skins. So yeah.
Okay, so you've been doing it for a while, but to move ahead, you have to become a legal business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Then what's some of the challenges that you have faced, like starting it? Is it development? Is it sourcing materials or making CAD files?
Oof, like a bit of everything probably. For me, like the most difficult was sourcing materials. Up there in terms of most difficult. When I started, I had zero experience. I knew nothing about wood. I knew nothing about base. I knew nothing about edges. So it was a journey. It was the most complicated part. Then, of course, I mean, the whole like building a ski A to Z. It's not something that you wake up one morning and you've never done it before. You say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to build a pair of ski, and, it goes smoothly. So it's a lot of, a lot of things. And of course, maybe you go faster on the first things, but then, the more you advance to go, the more like details you need to work on. So, probably it takes more to go from, I don't know, 0 to 70%, but then, 70 to 100%, it's gonna take like almost the same time, even more probably. I think that's also the part I like about the job, is that and maybe being a little OCD or something, is you're never happy 100% with the results, so you always want to improve, try something new. Actually, I was discussing with someone on a forum today about was asking me, how can I do this and that, and I say, listen, I do this, but there is no right answer on how you have to do something. It's just you have to find your way, and of course you can take advice from a lot of people, and that for me personally was very helpful. I can name a few ski builders that were really helpful in the process, but ultimately you have to find what works for you. There are people who have a huge workshop. There are people who have a small like basement. Everything needs to adapt a little.
Yeah, you gotta work with what you got. Is that one of the things that surprised you about ski making, is that 70 to 100%, how long it took to really dial in? Or was it something else that kind of surprised you along the way?
I think that actually the things that surprised me the most is how many people are doing it around the world. If you don't look into it, I mean, I see the reaction of people around me. They say, I didn't even know that was possible to build, a pair of ski, without having like a proper construction line or something, right? When you start to look into it, and then you figure out that there are many people, and I think, your podcast is a proof of this, right? That there are a lot of people doing it. And that for me was really surprising. And I think the other thing is how many of these people are really willing to share advice and help you in the process. So big shout out to Red Barrel Skis. JD is in Colorado, and he gave me really a lot of tips. I don't know if it's in the list of your guests, but you should reach out to him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll reach out to him. The ski building community is much larger than a lot of people realize, and everyone is always there kind of helping each other, getting materials, helping out with how to do processes. It's kind of nice. It's not, hey, I'm doing it this way, don't talk to me. It's like, oh, this is how I'm doing it. Let me share how I do it. Then what do you think of it? It's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. I really probably one of the best aspects of starting this journey.
Yeah, it's great. Kind of winding down here with questions. Are there any new skis in the future for you, or any projects that you're excited about that you're working on?
So I think probably like for the next season, I will stick with the two, and then probably at the end of the next winter season, I will start to work for sure on the third model. So that's one part of the project. And then there is another part of the project which is doing fully custom skis. So, working directly with the client and understanding what he wants and build, one unique pair of skis. So that's something that I hope to soon be able to provide as a service. And then there is also another thing that, yeah, I would like to try is workshops. Having people coming over for, I don't know, maybe a long weekend, have them build their own skis. Yeah, I think that would be great. At least, I would have loved to be able to participate to something like this.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Having people come in and make their own skis, then they have their part with it too. Like, I built these with my own hands.
Exactly. Yeah, and also you see how it works, and you can choose different characteristics. You can design your own top sheet, and yeah, I think yeah, I think there is a market out there.
And most definitely, especially in the Alps. Rapid fire questions, just kind of end of the interview. Fun questions.
Go ahead.
What's your favorite ski you've ever built?
Uh, uh, so that is just sentimental, but for me was the folk mantra, as it's the first ski I use freeride. Actually, I had it around until recently, but yeah, it's purely sentimental because I picked it in my hand and I said, "Oh my god, it's so heavy." So yeah, it's probably I don't know, 15 years old or something like that. So yeah, even more probably.
Just a heavy ski.
Yeah, but it was my first one, on to do freeride, so very sentimental about it.
No, completely understandable. Who would you like to ski with? Of anyone in the world?
Well, I would like to ski with Candide Tauvert. I don't know if you would like to ski with me though. But yeah, probably I would die very soon.
Yeah, trying to keep up with him would be very difficult. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, this amazing guy. Yeah.
What's your favorite ski resort?
So like for free ride, I really like around here Engelberg. Engelberg is yeah, it's really in the middle of Switzerland, and it has a very good free ride condition often. And actually, it's one of the places where I'm gonna do a test next winter. I mean, as a resort more broadly, and also because I have a kid, is Lax. They have a huge park. Yeah, and I mean it's really crazy to watch the people in the park. Yeah, and to see my son starting in the small park, and telling me that he wants to go on the on the huge jumps. So yeah, but Lax, yeah, is a great place for all around, for like ski, snowboarding, parks, free ride. Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Yeah, Wax. I always like watching the Wax Open. It's craziness every year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing.
It is. Then any tips for future ski builders? Any advice on how to get into it?
Advice is get in touch with people. The majority are willing to help. In the beginning, you have to hang in there a little bit. It's gonna be a few failures, but the failures will make you better in making the next pair of skis. And so yeah, I think these two things are key. Reach out to people, forums, or whatever. Hang in there, especially at the beginning. When you put your first pair of skis under your boots, it's yeah, it feels great. Feels great. No matter how the ski behave, because you don't know how the ski will behave your first pair of ski, right? it's impossible to know. Yeah, no matter how it behaves, you will be super, super satisfied.
Yeah, most definitely. You get that first pair underneath your feet. It's a great feeling. But yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. Cool.
Great talking to you. Thank you for coming on to the podcast.
Thanks, Josh. It was a pleasure.
And a big thanks to Mike for taking the time to come on the podcast. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks, Snow.